Ambassador Carter announcing today the reality is we are at war. And Secretary Carter telling Congress the U.S. needs to step up the fight against ISIS.
The reality is we're at war. That's how our troops feel about it, because they're taking the fight to ISIL every day.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton, goes on the record. Ambassador, the Secretary of Defense announcing we are at war. We haven't heard that from the President, I don't think, at any point, but we are at war. Stunning.
Well, at least you get truth at some level of this administration. And I think given what military witnesses have been saying in congressional hearings for the past several weeks, Secretary Carter didn't really have any choice. I think this is significant. I think our fellow citizens should see it as significant because for 7 years, Barack Obama has said we are not in a global war against terrorism. This is a law enforcement matter. It can be handled through the criminal justice system. And that is simply not true.
Well, the two at the top of the food chain on this are the Secretary of Defense and the President. And if they both have different views of what's going on, well, they're busy trying to hashing this out and disagreeing and everything about it. Meanwhile, it doesn't look particularly good what's happening as ISIS grows.
Well, exactly. And while it has suffered some reverses at the hands of the Kurds and others, basically ISIS continues to expand. It continues to consolidate its control over the territory it holds. And the United States and its allies are not acting effectively against it.
Would it be more of an impact if the United States Congress, consistent with its constitutional powers, would actually issue a declaration of war? I mean, everyone says we're at war with ISIS. Now the Secretary of Defense says, and for someone, everybody dances around it in Congress. I mean, Republicans have been screaming about the President not doing anything. Why don't they just declare war? They have the constitutional power.
Well, it would be a political gesture, but honestly, I'm not sure we've ever declared war against anything other than a nation state.
Well, maybe we ought to start.
And well, except
if the Secretary of Defense says we're at war, why don't we, dot our I's and cross our T's?
Why don't we have a House and Senate joint resolution that recommends the Secretary of Defense talk to the President? I think that would be more important.
How about invoke Article 9 of the NATO treaty?
Well, you could do a lot of things, but frankly, I think as long as the President doesn't get it, the political gestures actually harm us because it shows our inability or unwillingness under this President to do what's really necessary, which is to use force effectively. And I think what we're seeing now is that this terrorist attack in San Bernardino didn't depend on ISIS. It didn't depend on the husband being radicalized by the wife. These people were pledging loyalty to the Muslim Brotherhood well before this. This terrorist threat has been around for a long time, and our failure to address it is going to cause us a lot more of these incidents in the near future, I'm afraid.
Ambassador, thank you, sir.
Thank you.